Hi everybody, how you doing? Welcome. My name is Venom. 2015 is already shaping up to be an epic year in gaming. There are some extraordinary multi-platform titles that are coming to both PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I filtered a long list of games down to 30 key titles that I think represent a great cross-section of genres. Trends include FPS and open world games and a long overdue resurgence of the RPG. There are some AAA big hitters and there are also a couple of indie classics in the making. So whichever side your bread is buttered, if you're a PS4 or XBO owner, you get to play these potentially amazing games. So here is my look at the top 30 most anticipated games of 2015 for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Let's begin. The team behind Borderlands have created a fresh sci-fi fantasy universe for their brand new IP, Battleborn. Set in a distant future where every star is darkening except one, Solus. Different species retreat to the solar system and form factions based on their beliefs, fighting each other for survival, only to discover a far more malevolent threat, the Valesi, which will destroy them all unless they can find a way to step up and join forces to become the heroes that the universe needs. Battleborn is a first-person shooter that features highly stylized visuals that sets it apart from any FPS game that has come before. You can play as one of the many quixotic characters, each with their own unique weapons, powers and personalities. You will be able to level up, choose special abilities and customizations. There is a multiple segment campaign that can be played in single player or co-op mode with up to 4 friends. The focus will be the 5 vs 5 combat arena mode. Destiny demonstrated that gamers are ready to play a new type of FPS. Battleborn looks and plays differently from the default marine shooters. Whilst the established gaming press are suspicious of any new IP that tries to do something different, this could be the surprise hit of 2015.
Witcher, I was hoping you'd come.
Based on a series of Polish fantasy novels, the first 2 Witcher action RPG games have been highly lauded for their nuanced storytelling that goes beyond depicting characters and actions as simply black or white. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt has hero Geralt face a dark army that invades the Northern Kingdom. He can fight hand to hand or use his Witcher magic abilities. You will also be able to play as Ciri, who is of elven ancestry. She is a healer and a dangerous combatant. Her story is intended to complement the core adventure of Geralt. This Witcher 3 will be epic in scope, allowing you to travel vast distances on foot, horseback and by sea, and promises to deliver a world that is both open and immersive with deep narrative. In the history book of video games, Metal Gear Solid is a lore unto itself, with its intricate story of renegade special forces, secret experimental research projects and cloned super soldiers. The Phantom Pain sees creator Hideo Kojima follow Big Boss after the dramatic events that closed Ground Zeroes. Now called Venom Snake, he leads a mercenary group to exact revenge. It's again an open world action adventure where you predominantly have to use stealth to secretly traverse and interact with the huge environment. At times you will have the support of AI companions, and there's a new base building feature where you can develop and create new weapons. Metal Gear Online will also be included, allowing for multiplayer with game modes that use the stealth mechanic. Ground Zeroes was an appetizer of what it's like to be Snake in an open world environment. Phantom Pain will be the full-fat experience, bursting with the creative flourishes that have Kojima's own indelible stamp on them. It's time to leave the NetherRealm. Gaming's roster of most merciless fighters are back. Mortal Kombat X showcases the franchise's best loved characters including Scorpion, Sub-Zero and Kitana, in a romp of a game that may see one of them receive a fatality for the last time. The story jumps 25 years in the future, then back again during the time span in cutscenes, so you will need to pay attention. Mortal Kombat X allows you to choose multiple variations of the same fighter, so you can play with them using different weapons, accessories or moves. There is the introduction of the stamina meter, and the game also sees the return of the horrifying brutality's finishing moves. The game's co-creator Ed Boon had confirmed that it will run at a nubile smooth 60 frames per second, giving you far more fluid animation and a more responsive feel to all the damage you inflict.
Finish him!
Hunt, Horrors of the Gilded Age, is a monster hunter game with a twist. It has an 1800s cowboys vs zombies setting. It's a third-person cooperative shooter where you use authentic weapons of the era including crossbows, double-barrel shotguns, dynamite and traps to hunt witches, zombies and other creatures of the night. Whilst there are no set character classes, you can level up your skills and modify your outfits to match character archetypes including Old West Gunslinger or Witch Hunter. It's been designed from the ground up to be a 4-player co-op with boss fights that require intelligent tactics as well as brawn. Whilst it is a free-to-play game, Crytek say they are building a AAA game and promise that there will be no artificial gates or time limits or impediments on your ability to play the game. After a string of unexceptional urban GTA clones, the original Just Cause stood out because of its bright Caribbean island setting and story about a megalomaniac dictator. Now, hero Rico Rodriguez ventures to the Mediterranean island of Medici, his birthplace, to battle its dictator, General Di Ravello. Outrageous stunts involving grappling hooks and parachutes will return, as well as using the brand new wingsuit. Zombies are evidently still a big draw to gamers. Dead Island 2 is set in a California quarantined by the US military because of another massive outbreak of zombies. You will be able to face the horde against the backdrop of a variety of famous locations including the Hollywood sign. Zombies will be more brutal and deal deadlier damage. Weapon customization will be more advanced and the dual wield system is one of several new ways to kill. The wait for a new Final Fantasy game is always too long. So Square Enix have been wise to quench gamers' thirst with Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, an undiscovered gem because it's a remake of the PlayStation Portable game that was never released in the West. You can play as one of 12 young students from a magical academy who must fight to defend their dominion from the attacks of the Militesi Empire. Combat is all real time, and it's more perilous because characters cannot be revived during combat. The HD edition features higher resolution redrawn graphics, a new easy mode, and more unlockable weapons and accessories. Tom Clancy's The Division is a third-person co-op team shooter that Ubisoft have invested heavily in. Set in New York after the outbreak of a man-made virus, players take on the role of members of The Division, a government task force that must battle civil unrest and prevent the complete downfall of society. Weather conditions will affect your play environment, and there is a strong focus on the social aspects, and you will be able to trade with other players as well as team up with them to achieve group objectives.
Get medical online first.
Daedalic Entertainment are big fans of Ron Gilbert's Monkey Island, and Silence is their interpretation of a modern adventure game. It has striking visuals never seen in a game of this type. Daedalic use a system called camera projection to overlay beautiful hand-drawn skins over 3D objects to create sumptuous backgrounds. Puzzle design also means there is no need for an inventory, as characters Noah and his younger sister Rennie will only be able to pick up what they can carry. And puzzle solutions are comprehensible to eliminate stalled gameplay and keep the experience enjoyable. The biggest music game franchise is coming back. Harmonix delighted many gamers with their surprise announcement of Rock Band 4, their first new title in the franchise since 2010. Enough time has now passed for people to miss it. Releasing exclusively on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, the developers have been coy about the new features, but they want to take it back to its roots by allowing gamers to experience the sheer joy of playing live in front of a crowd. Most digital DLC packs bought for previous versions will be compatible, although they will not all be available at launch, meaning that old rockers will already have a library of their favourite tracks to play. The keyboard has been left out of the new game, although you will still be able to play lead guitar, bass guitar, drums and perform vocals. Harmonix are working hard to make previous instrument peripherals compatible, while also releasing a brand new range of instruments in partnership with Mad Catz. Rock Band has always been fun solo, but really works as an after hours jam session with friends.
Want a three-man team going in here?
Battlefield Hardline sees the FPS franchise shifted from a war setting to an urban police versus criminal setting, with players able to play on either side. Game modes include heists, where you can either prevent or break into a cash-filled vault. The public beta has given gamers a chance to experience it for themselves, and it could be a welcome refresh that the series needs. Dead or Alive 4 Last Round is a fighting game in the boobs and beats subgenre. It includes all the content from the previous iterations of the game, as well as new costumes and hairstyles. The graphics are now in 1080p 60 FPS, and on new generation systems, Last Round has noticeably improved boob motion, which helps with the dynamic artistry. Based in the same post-apocalyptic world as the Mel Gibson movies, Mad Max is an open-world vehicle combat game that has you in control of the Magnum Opus, a car that you can upgrade with crafted weaponry on your quest to find the lost vehicle, the Interceptor. You can customize the Opus with tire-mounted spikes, flamethrowers, weapons and armor as you run riot across the dangerous bandit-filled wasteland. EA are making a new golf game without Tiger Woods as the cover star. Rory McIlroy PGA Tour includes world famous courses and extreme fantasy courses, as well as a roster of well-known golfing sports heroes. Hell Raid is a dark fantasy FPS that's reminiscent of the Elder Scrolls Dungeons. You play as Aiden, voiced by Nathan Drake actor Nolan North. Aiden is the last surviving member of a cursed clan who teams up with a mage to fight the infernal forces. The game has 3 modes: story, mission and arena. Thankfully you can play individually or 2 to 4 player co-op. Projekt Cars was crowdfunding remarkably without Kickstarter, and has been successful in generating support and anticipation amongst the gaming community. It's a car racing simulation intended to give a realistic driving experience. It will also give access to multiple vehicles and tracks without the grind. Toy Soldiers War Chest is a light-hearted action strategy game. You must defend your toy box against your enemies. You can choose from one of 4 types of armies that each have different strengths, and you can play at a strategic level or take direct control of your turrets and armies.
When you work as a team,
you can destroy any army that dares cross you.
In their annual rush to make profits, Ubisoft lost sight of the need to make games that serve their customers. Assassin's Creed Unity was filled with pay-to-improve microtransactions and mini-tasks that needlessly required their tablet app to complete.
It is not your place.
So they are working hard to win back goodwill with their next game, Assassin's Creed Victory. Set in Victorian London, an era rich with history. Leaked screenshots show St. Paul's Cathedral, Big Ben, and an assassination task to kill Roderick Bowmer, an industrialist who, in the game, has been human trafficking. Hopefully Ubisoft learned from their hubris, and Assassin's Creed Victory is a return to form. Hyperlight Drifter is a 2D action RPG in the style of old 8-bit games. Whilst too many indie games use pixel art purely as a stylistic choice, Hyperlight Drifter melds it with mechanics fitting for a game that could have come straight from the Commodore 64 era. Lead designer Alex Preston says it has been made with a fondness and nostalgia for adventure games like The Legend of Zelda and Link to the Past. The serious thought put into the design of the levels means the playability will have real depth. Hyperlight Drifter could turn out to be a very special game indeed.
I'm taking out the main entrance.
Ubisoft's other Tom Clancy game this year is Rainbow Six Siege. You are part of a counter-terrorist unit taking part in a number of rescue missions, including siege scenarios and assaulting enemy strongholds. Environments are destructible and you can blow up walls to see new lines of fire. You can play single player or with friends as part of your unit.
How about a tale you haven't heard before?
King's Quest is the legendary series of graphic adventure games from the 90s. This new game sees the hero King Graham, now considerably older, recounting stories of his adventures to his granddaughter. The game is effectively one big flashback, which in story terms might eliminate that sense of peril. There are strange creatures to meet, traps to cross, and dragons to be afraid of. Gameplay shown so far has multiple platform and action elements, and if combined with an involving story, could be a great relaunch. Kingdom Come: Deliverance is an open-world medieval RPG. It's grounded in the historical setting of the medieval Kingdom of Bohemia, which is the 15th century Czech Republic. You play an orphan seeking revenge against a wrongful king. It uses a classless system, so you use skills and dialogue to develop your stats and specialize. This is a refreshing take on the genre that seeks to provide a more realistic RPG experience. The original free-running platformer introduced us to Faith, a courier for a revolutionary group in a totalitarian city. The game stood out with its clean visual style and use of the colour white. The video shows Faith having her distinctive eye tattoo applied, which suggests it might be a prequel or even a reboot. Mirror's Edge will be fully open world and will offer greater freedom of movement and new action moves. Based on the phenomenally successful Naruto manga series, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 is the latest in the fighting franchise about a teenage ninja. It includes an updated combat and damage system that will allow for more strategic fighting. Space Hulk Deathwing is a sci-fi FPS set in the Warhammer 40k universe. Featuring the original Space Marines, you play as a Deathwing Marine fighting against the Space Hulk. As you progress, you can unlock new powers, use new relics and devastating new weapons. Buckle up, because this looks like a journey straight into chaos.
Hardiman Aerospace North Star 4.
Adam Orff became notorious as the result of his deal with his tweets. After Microsoft exiled him for publicly supporting their own DRM missteps, he went into the developer wilderness. He felt alone and unsure of what to do next. It's these emotions he has channeled into his new game, Adrift. It opens with you as an astronaut, floating in the wreckage of a spacecraft, with no memory of what happened, unsure of what you did to get where you are. You have to solve puzzles, uncover clues, listen to audio logs, so that you can survive and return home in one piece. The Orff metaphor is not lost on us.
To stand alone, or to fight side by side.
The Elder Scrolls Online, Tamriel Unlimited. The Elder Scrolls is truly a beloved series of RPGs. You'd think that if you turned it into an online game where people can adventure with friends, then you'd have gold dust, wouldn't you? The PC version launched to middling reviews and complaints of feeling empty. However, for the upcoming console release, Bethesda promised a string of updates and play refinements. The Batman Arkham series have been legendary in their faithful depiction of the Dark Knight and how he deals justice to the more insane members of Gotham. Batman Arkham Knight puts him directly in the line of fire as the Scarecrow rounds up all the city's infamous villains to join forces in a plot to kill the Batman. In the game, you'll have access to that fantastic variety of gadgets and weaponry, including the Batarang, the grapnel gun and glider wings. You will also for the first time be able to travel using the Batmobile, which will be pivotal to how you play the game. Get ready to say your goodbyes because developers Rocksteady Studios have said Batman Arkham Knight will be the concluding chapter to the Arkham series.
No more Batman.
If any game has the potential to reach the dazzling sales numbers of a Call of Duty or FIFA football, then it's Star Wars Battlefront. Nearly 5 years since the release of the last Star Wars game and the upcoming The Force Awakens sequel movie means EA have the perfect storm to launch a gaming blockbuster. Star Wars Battlefront has been crafted by DICE, the developers behind Battlefield. It will be set during the period of the original movies, although there could be some prequel and sequel trilogy elements. You will be able to play as either the Rebellion or Empire on some of the series' most iconic planets. It's a shooter, but there will be sections where you control vehicles, including snowspeeders, speeder bikes, and hopefully the X-Wing. Come this Christmas season 2015, the hype for The Force Awakens will be stratospheric, and Star Wars Battlefront will be a beautiful, immersive, exciting way to play at the heart of this phenomenal galaxy.
Do or do not. There is no try.
I hope you've been able to see that this fantastic variety of exceptional game experiences will be available to all PlayStation 4 and Xbox One owners in 2015. Bless you for watching. If you've enjoyed this program, please hit the like button, follow me on Twitter and do subscribe for further updates. Cheers.